Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to talk about a very basic of English grammar, and that is a tense. What are tenses? Tenses are basically words that help us understand verbs, right? Or helps us understand the better meaning of a sentence. So we're going to look into the various tenses that we have. What does it signify? And this class is basically going to be a very basic session of tense. If you have forgotten about tense in your high school, then this is the right class for you. Today we're going to talk about tense, and that is what we're going to learn. What is a tense? A tense is basically a word that tells us when an action happens. So emphasis on the word when. Basically, if a sentence is telling you that an action has happened in the past, then you will have to understand that it is a past tense. If a sentence shows or signifies that an action is happening right now, then it is a present tense. If you look at a sentence and it shows you that it is talking about an action that could or will happen in the past, in the future, then it will be a future tense. Tenses have basically three main types, and that is the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. If we look at present tense, since we've understood that a tense tells us about when an action happens, right? So present tense, it talks about things happening right now. Basically, the word present is showing that. So when we see this, is it just about the action that is happening right now, or is it about actions that happen regularly? So basically, when we talk about present tense, it talks about actions that are happening in the present and also regularly. That means actions that are considered habits, or actions that are considered facts, universal facts or truths. They are also understood as present tense because they won't change. Maybe in the facts and universal truths will not change even after 20 years or even after 30 years, right? So that's the reason why they are considered as present tense. Here, if we look at this sentence, I brush my teeth every morning. Here, the verb is I brush my teeth. My action is brushing, right? So in this sentence, I am saying that I brush my teeth every day. This shows a action that is happening regularly. And that is what we understand as present tense. It's very simple. If we look at this one, she reads books. Here again, I'm talking about her habit of reading a book. So therefore, this one is also present tense, right? If I say, I play badminton, I play badminton, what tense is this? This is a present tense, talking about my action that is happening right now. If I say she is reading a newspaper, is reading will become a present tense because it is talking about the action that is happening now. So basically, anything that has to do with now, any action that is happening now, or any action that happens regularly will be understood as present tense. That is very basic. Let's move on to the next type, and that is the past tense. Past tense will describe an action that already happened. That means the action has been completed. And through this example, you can see that I watched a movie last night. Now, here I'm talking about watching a movie, but it's something that has happened last night. So you're talking about this in the next morning or maybe after 2 days, right? So what is happening here is that when you say last night, you're talking about it in the next morning and saying that you watched it. So basically, the word watched becomes the past tense. I watched a movie is a past tense. They walked to school. Again, I'm not giving you a specific time, but the verb itself is talking about an action that has already happened. They walked, right? So they have already walked to school. So this is also a past tense. So past tense is very simple. It describes an action that has already happened. Let's move on to the next one, that is the future tense. Future tense talks about things that will happen. Now, there is also an addition of the fact that future tense also predicts something, and that is actions that could happen or would happen. Okay, so future tense talks about things that will happen or could happen in the future. It hasn't happened, it is not happening right now, but will happen maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or maybe in the next 5 to 6 hours. So all the actions that hasn't happened will be considered as a future tense. For example, we will visit grandma tomorrow. The word will visit shows that it is talking about someone going to visit their grandmother. But what is it saying? Tomorrow, right? So tomorrow means it has not happened yet. You are just planning to go visit her, right? So it's still in planning mode. So what has happened? The action hasn't happened. So you will have to understand that as a future tense, something that will happen tomorrow. Similarly, she will start college next year. Will start shows that something will begin in the next year, in the coming year. So, therefore, this one will also be understood as a future tense. These are very simple tenses. These are one of the basic things that you'll have to remember when we talk about tenses in sentences. And this basic understanding is what you will be able to use when we talk about active, when we talk about passive voice, when we talk about indirect speech, direct speech, right? And also the various forms of tenses under present, past, and future. We have various forms of tenses as well, such as simple present tense, past continuous, or future perfect continuous. All these are various forms of the tenses. We will deal with that in the next class. However, let's move on to the next portion, and that is a quick recap of what we have discussed today. So, what are the three tenses? They are present, past, and future tenses. All these three tenses describe what? Actions that will happen or that could happen, right? So, this is the tense. Now, if I give you an example of a present tense, it is mostly denoting habits or actions that happen regularly or actions that are happening now. I eat breakfast is a present tense. Let's move on to the next one. I ate breakfast. Ate means it shows that the action has been completed. So therefore, this is a past tense. If I say I will eat breakfast, then it shows that the action has not happened yet. It is not happening now. Rather, it will happen in the future. That is, I will eat breakfast. So therefore, these three are the various forms of tenses that you will have to understand in order to move forward to a more detailed topic. So please join us again in the next class to know more about tenses. For now, this is a very basic tense. So I hope you will remember this in our next class. Thank you for joining me. Have a very nice day.